What's the key to stopping the Steelers on offense, and what's the key to stopping the Steelers on defense? Of course, it's not a fair question because the Browns have so many injuries involved. But what, as they get ready for this particular game under this particular circumstance, what do they have to do offensively and defensively?
Well, I think offensively they've got to do what's got them to this point, which is run the ball effectively. Mix in some play action. Hope that Baker doesn't make any mistakes. He went 2 games without throwing an interception, and then, boy, he was flirting with it last week. In the first half, he was high on every throw, just about, and both Beckham and Landry bailed him out with like circus-like catches. So at halftime, I was saying to myself and to a couple others in the press box that Baker's really on the verge of throwing a couple picks here, and that's exactly what he did in the second half. So he's just got to play smart and stay within himself and not try to do too much. And I think as long as they're able to run the ball effectively and stay out of 3rd and long situations, that they should be okay. From a defensive standpoint, Les, they've got to stop giving up those big chunk plays. I think the Browns have done a pretty good job as far as stopping the run so far, but they've still, because of injuries to that secondary and that linebacking core, they're still giving up a lot of big plays, whether it's a 10-yard catch that turns into a 30-yard gain or whatever the case may be. So, unfortunately, their safeties are banged up again. Greedy Williams went on the injured reserve this week. So defensive coordinator Joe Woods, who you just showed a couple minutes ago, has really had to patch things together, and he's going to have to patch it together this Sunday as well.
So what do you do if you're the Browns? Do you continue to try the running game even though you don't have your number 1 runner? Thankfully, they have the number 2 guy. What do you do there, and what do you do? What do you do? Just pretend he's still there and everything's fine?
Yeah, I think what you do, Les, is that you try to run it with Hunt, but I think you also can have those short passes to Hunt and guys out of the backfield, or your tight ends that are essentially nothing more than running plays, right? I mean, if you can just run those 2 and 3 yard outs or whatever the case may be, or have a back go over the middle and just kind of sit down and make a catch, that's essentially what would be a 4 to 5 to 6 yard run. So I think, again, it's not trying to do too much. I could be totally wrong here. They may come out and run the Statue of Liberty on first down. And what I've liked about Stefanski so far this year as well has been his aggressiveness. He's not been afraid to throw a trick play in there early or really mix things up. I get the feeling, Les, and I mentioned him earlier, I think you're going to see Baker Mayfield go to Austin Hooper a little bit more going forward here. I think he's really starting to develop a little more chemistry with him. Teams have done a good job at times of taking him away. And I think the more that Landry and Beckham can stretch things outside the numbers, then you're going to be able to see that tight end work inside a little bit more. Same with Njoku. So again, I think keep the play calling simple. Try to run it if you can, and don't make any mistakes. That's the key.